The Anyday.com podcasts. Energy is a great story. Nessun Dorma, from the article by Marco Alfieri on Anyday.com.
A Eni anunciou a descoberta da maior jazida de gás
Das
natural do
Unternehmen Eni
Mediterrâneo.
die Fundstelle namens Zohr.
Eni, le géant italien de l'énergie, a annoncé la découverte du plus grand.
Italian energy giant Eni has found the Mediterranean's biggest gas. Zohr field
ذلك الذي
covers about
اكتشفته
100
الشركة الإيطالية إني.
Eni scopre un vasto giacimento di gas in Egitto, definendolo il più grande mai trovato nel Mediterraneo.
It's the news of 2015. An event capable of causing a chain of repercussions in the financial, political and economic world of a continental area like that of Europe and Africa. The discovery off the Mediterranean coast of Egypt of one of the most important deposits of methane gas in the last 10 years. Christened Zohr. Some news, eh? What? No buzz, no excitement? True, the media headlines seem pretty cold, dedicated as they are to the leading figures on the international stage. But why? One reason could be the fact that we don't know the people who were involved in the project. And we have no idea of the problems they had to face or the solutions with which they solved them. Perhaps it's because we don't know the Eni explorers. Well, let's pop over to Cairo to meet one. I've chosen a public place to make our guest feel at ease with a cup of tea and nargile smoke. The picture I had in my mind of these people was that of a new Indiana Jones.
We aren't Indiana Jones, like some people think. We don't carry a whip. We don't consult miraculous algorithms or whisper to stones. For heaven's sake, we are serious.
Our explorer friend is certainly feisty. Well, he does belong to a hard-nosed team that doesn't give up. It is creative but also solid, with an unshakable faith in the value of analysis and scientific measurement. Otherwise, how would they have been able to achieve this result that arrogantly relaunches Eni on the worldwide energy scene, showing political acumen, business sense, capability and scientific and creative expertise? That's true, isn't it?
First of all, please, don't take it too lightly. And if you really want everyone to understand how it went, you've got to start from the beginning.
Okay, so let's start with the necessary introduction. When the team began its research in 2012, the Egyptian revolution had taken place only the year before, remember?
The rebellion gathered and grew 9 months ago at a busy roundabout in the centre of Cairo.
Well, that's true. The situation was particularly delicate. The Muslim Brothers had gained power, led by Mohammed Morsi. The country's economy was doing badly. The country wasn't paying its debts. None of our competitors would have bet on Egypt as we did. Moreover, we have a tradition of collaboration with this country that goes back to the 50s.
Of course.
Notwithstanding the instability, we decided to maintain a regional presence, continuing to study the Eastern Basin area from a geological point of view.
Wasn't that a risky idea?
Not for our team. You see, as long as it's possible, the first rule of an energy company is that contingent and geopolitical factors must never stop you searching and understanding. The oil business is long-term. Tomorrow, things can be different, perhaps better. And then...
And then?
And then we were on the eve of important decisions. Here, nearby, there's a company, IEOC, Eni's historical exploration machine in Egypt that, well, for the first time in 40 years, was about to be without an area to explore.
Yes.
And we couldn't stop, could we?
There was every reason to think the game was over, wasn't there?
If everyone thought like you, there wouldn't be any progress. It was at that point that the Egyptian government called for bids from oil companies for a search in 15 offshore territorial blocks.
15 offshore blocks?
Basically, there are research areas in the sea. Our organization decides to evaluate the offer and starts analyzing the data packages acquired by the Egyptian government, comparing them with all the data in our possession.
Excuse me, could you explain what data packages are?
Studies carried out over over time, we compiled gravimetric and magnetometric data regarding regions and old seismic lines. In other words, we look through a virtual library for all the information that can tell us if there can be resources in that area. At the end of the control period, our team chose Block 9 from the 15, the mysterious Shuruk.
I feel like Aladdin, but why Block 9?
In this block, we found an enormous rocky mass of Miocene origin and the enormous size, buried under 3,000 meters of sediment,
Wow.
1,500 meters below sea level, the same size as the Sella Pordoi mountain group.
Are you telling me that buried in the eastern Mediterranean there is a hidden colossus full of gas?
Listen, my friend, our magic wand is lateral thinking. Avant-garde surveying methods, a sophisticated system of images and coloured seismic lines that were going through our heads, forming a large coloured picture like a real 2D psychedelic trip.
You wanted to say LSD.
Come with me. Let's go to the laboratory. We compared the data, and while everyone was looking for proof of the existence of Miocene sand, like that exploited in the Nile Delta, we searched elsewhere. Taxi!
I'm beginning to think you've got an enjoyable job. And then what happened?
Well, we gave our new model a name. We called it the Potato. Yes, we geologists are quite nerdy.
No, the potato. You must be joking. Are you telling me that you went to the big bosses at your headquarters and said, "We found a potato"?
They even believed us. It's great working at Eni. If you're not a bit of a visionary, they don't want you. And that goes for all of us. That's how the managers decide to make the Egyptian government an offer.
And if things had gone badly?
Well, now I'll tell you a story. Many years ago, an emperor lived at Beijing. He had a very beautiful daughter, but as cold as ice.
You do know you're an incurable romantic, but what's this story got to do with it?
The emperor's daughter was called Turandot. No one had the courage to ask for her hand in marriage due to the 3 terrible riddles her father had devised. A bit like our gigantic mountain. For the other energy companies, the venture was too risky.
And then what happened?
Whoever didn't answer the riddles correctly lost their life. Well, the same is true for large companies. Our rivals were afraid.
Hang on, I've got it. You're telling me that Eni had the courage for the venture, like the prince in our story. It took a risk and won.
You took the words out of my mouth. Caliph, our prince, solved all 3 riddles, winning our beautiful princess. You pay. We're here.
Wait a minute. What were the 3 riddles for our geologists?
Elementary, my dear Watson. First, does a reservoir exist? Because if there is no reservoir, no gas. Second, has the structure got a cork sealing it? You know, not to have an empty site. And third, do we have a source rock? That containing the gas.
And did you solve them?
Yes, like the prince. Our team managed to overcome all the obstacles, winning the beautiful, oversized princess. And from that moment on, things got really frenetic. Come on!
I'm coming. Oh yes, in the meantime, Sisi became head of the Egyptian government. The country wanted to liberate its economy, begin to pay its debts, and you went into action.
And we've arrived at the 25th of June 2015. Everything is ready. The enormous silhouette of the Saipem 10,000 platform ship, a colossus specially created for oil exploration, arrives on site. And there is still...
Yeah, still 1,500 meters under the sea.
Of course, it's just a figure of speech. The ship gets in position, And to hold its spot, you know what I'll do? I'll let Captain Andrea Lippi tell you how himself.
The dynamic positioning system is a system that receives signals from both satellites and beacons positioned on the seabed. The strongest signal is repeated in position. The characteristic of this dynamic positioning is being able to stay vertically above the well, even in the worst meteorological conditions.
And at this point you began drilling. But come on, have you ever been on a platform?
Imagine being right above an enormous mass of rock. The challenge begins. We proceed with caution. We drill into the rock, and then the rock gives, letting itself be modeled like clay in the hands of its creator. Our team in the laboratory doesn't sleep. For days, they measure the rock's geological age and their depth. 100, 200, 300 meters. Always deeper. 500 meters, 600 meters. Yes! We were right. The reservoir rocks are of excellent quality. The numbers begin to become enormous. Zohr has become a sensational discovery that has changed the future of a country.
Wow, it's certainly not the first time that Italian tenacity and inventiveness have managed to change the rules of play. Just think of the genius of Leonardo da Vinci or the courage of Marco Polo.
Steady on, my friend. We're the people with our feet on the ground, even at a depth of 4,500 meters. Anyway, you really should go now. I'll see you next time.
Perhaps you wanted to say I really have to go now.
No, the one who should go is you.
Ah, okay. Well, I'm off. Have you any idea what it's like having an explorer friend? Every time real life seems a little boring, just think of him and all those capable of imagining Never Neverland and making it real. The marvelous journey of Eni in the world of energy carries on until we see you next time, because energy is a great story.
You have been listening to Anyday.com's podcast, Energy is a Great Story. Produced and adapted for radio by Cast 4. Download the complete collection from the site Anyday.com.